the debate. Was it good? Was it bad? Who was the clear-cut winner to me? Who fought the hardest? Who looked the stupidest? Well, look no further, because DJ Wolf is going to bring you the pain about his opinion regarding last night's debate debacle. This is DJ Wolf Live. All right, guys. I watched that debate from start to finish. Not sure why. I probably should have taped it. Took my ass to sleep and watched it this morning while I was talking to you guys and play some of it. That's what I started to do. But I didn't. Maybe I'll do a recap on it later on. But nevertheless, I heard Andrew Mitchell from NBC News / MSNBC last night gave her comment. She said she thought that was the worst debate she's seen in almost 50 years of her working debates. So she started doing debates in 1976. Matter of fact, that's what she said. And I'm not gonna lie, it really was a one-sided debate to me. I'm listening to everything Biden's saying and tried to say, but unfortunately he was interrupted by a guy who can't debate the side of a fruit basket, let alone the side. He couldn't debate his way out of a paper bag in Donald Trump. He's not a debater. He cannot debate. He's somebody who makes accusations, he points fingers, and he tries to antagonize people. That's what he does. He's not a debater. He got clowned the whole time. Biden even called him a clown a few times. And Biden, I'm telling you right now, I know some people who going to say, well, you ride with Biden. I'm not riding with Biden or Trump. But I'm going to tell you the truth. No, excuse me. I'm going to tell you the truth. Biden looked very presidential. He looked very strong. He had a lot of strong points. I mean, regardless of what anybody says, Biden had quite a few strong points as a presidential candidate. And he looked like a presidential candidate. He spoke like a presidential candidate. On the other hand, Trump, he spoke like a dictator. He didn't want anybody to hear nothing Biden had to say, and he didn't want to talk about real issues. He refused to do that. At one point, the guy Chris Wallace from Fox News, who was monitoring, who was the debate moderator, asked Trump about white supremacy. Would you condemn it? Not only did he not condemn it, he was talking about what he said. What are the frat boys? What do they call them boys? To stand down. That's all he said. He never condemned racism. He never condemned it. He didn't even want to talk about it. He didn't want to address the issue at all. Okay? And that was a good question that Chris Wallace had brought up, because Trump needed to have something like that addressed to his face so he can answer the American public about what he's going to do as president in the next 4 years. And apparently, it's obviously he's not going to do anything about it. For anybody who saw that debate last night and actually thought that Trump was winning, you need to be locked up in a padded cell. Bottom line, there's no way you could sit there and watch that same goddamn debate and think Trump was winning. He was not winning. Trump was loud. He was boisterous. He wouldn't answer many of the questions that Chris Wallace asked him. He didn't really want to address. Matter of fact, really, he didn't address issues at all. He started pontificating on stuff that didn't really matter versus stuff that should have mattered as president. You know? He claimed that he paid billions of dollars in taxes, which was an outright lie. He did not. He wouldn't answer the question about dealing with white supremacy. He clearly didn't answer that at all. You know, Biden wanted to talk about issues. Trump would not talk about almost no issues at all. All he wanted to do was bitch and moan. You honestly want a president like that to be sitting up in the White House for another 4 years to do the same thing he didn't do 4 years earlier? Are you serious? Do you really think you will be happy with a motherfucker like this guy? Really? You know? You just can't. You know, I'm not a rider for Biden per se, but I like a lot of what the stuff that he said, and I like the fact that he did answer a lot of the questions. He wasn't afraid. Why would he be? You know? Whereas Trump was so much of a punk, he wouldn't answer any damn thing. He literally wouldn't. And he wasn't trying to. He wasn't attempting to do any of that. He really wasn't. He's a punk. And yes, I said, your president, number 45, is the biggest punk on the planet. He cries like a little bitch every morning, every day. He cries like a bitch. Or he does whine. You know, he tried to downplay what a scientist was saying. You know? He downplayed about what he said about Fauci. Biden got him on that. Biden got him on a lot of stuff. At one point, Biden was like, what did he say? Keep talking. That's a very direct quote. Because Trump was getting on his nerves. He was. Trump is such a punk ass. And he is that. I don't care what anybody say. You can say you can say back and forth, up and down, inside out, whatever, what have you. Trump is a punk. Bottom line. Like somebody said on Facebook overnight, Biden, he was ready to whoop his ass. I wish he had. You know? Trump also like he was mad too. You know? But Trump is not a debater. Y'all can say 1,000 times over that Trump won. Trump did not win that debate. He might win being boisterous as hell. He's a very boisterous person. But he's not a debater. Biden clearly showed Trump what being presidential was about. Trump is a big old crybaby bitch. He's a bitch. He really is. He got a lot of bitch in him. Oh, did I say that? Yeah, he got a lot of bitch in him. Trump is a very effeminate guy anyway. If you check him out the last few years or so, that's how he comes off. He don't come off like no real man. And no real man talk the way this dude talk to people. And yeah, I said, no real man talk to people the way Donald Trump talk to people. Donald Trump is an effeminate little bitch. Biden basically handed his head to him on a silver platter. He know it, and y'all know it. But because he's your president, y'all think y'all think he's the biggest thing since sliced bread. Y'all think this game is gold. He has no game. He has no debate. He's a tacky guy. Trump is a tacky guy. Y'all know he is. He has no clue about him. He honestly don't. This guy, he's inarticulate. He's not intelligent. Trump's not even smart. He's not a smart guy. I mean, if you really think about it, Trump is an illusionist. When I say he's an illusionist, he's somebody who pretends that he's something that he's really not. He's not the business man that you think he is. He's already faked the funk on that. Everybody knows he's a known womanizer, which leads to the fact that he's not a good husband. Now, I can't deny or collaborate whether he's a good father or not, and I'm actually questioning that. That's another whole story. He doesn't talk very highly about his son, Barry, who's currently his youngest, and I heard rumor has it that he tried to own him. I don't know how true that is, but he knows he doesn't talk about his son. He doesn't talk friendly about his son, his youngest son, who I heard does have a disability. But he doesn't talk about him. Let's be real. What have he actually addressed about Barron in the 4 years he's been in office? Almost never. His own son. I'm not attacking his son. I'm just saying he never talked finally about his kids. Every president who has ever been in office the last 25 years I've watched, 30 years I've watched, watched closely, and that even includes the Reagans. You know, so we're going back 40 years. Have always finally talked about their children. The Reagans, the Bushes, the Clintons, the Obamas, the other Bushes, they always talk finally about the kids. I don't remember 2 times that Trump has ever finally talked about I'm talking about his youngest son, the one that's in the White House with him, Barron. He never talks about him. I find that odd. I find it extremely odd. Really, he doesn't really talk about politics too much. All he does is, I don't know what's on his face. He doesn't really talk about his kids, if you really think about it. He doesn't talk about his kids at all. You know, in terms of, but definitely the youngest one he don't talk about. Matter of fact, he doesn't talk about the youngest girl. You know, he may talk about the older ones in terms of business and stuff like that, but the one that's the White House with him, the youngest one, he'll talk about his son. He does not. I've never heard him do it. But I can tell you this, and I'll say this, and I'll give them what anybody think. Biden looked 5 times more presidential than Trump ever has in the 4 years he's been in office. I can honestly say it with conviction. You know, Biden is to a point now where I'd vote for him just because he actually made sense on a lot of stuff that he talked about. Now, he did stammer a little bit, yeah, okay, that's given. But when it comes about his convictions, he firmly stood ground. Trump was all over the place. Trump had no convictions about anything. He just wanted to bitch and moan. That's all the fuck he did. He didn't talk about any issues. And Chris Wallace really had kind of lost control of that at that point, at a number of points. And something I was just saying on one of the radio stations, I also talked about with my wife last night. I wish I had took turn his mic off. But he wasn't supposed to talk. Turn the mic off. Why is that a hard thing to do? I think they did it last time. If I ain't mistaken, I thought it was either a VP, some official office candidacy was going on. I thought they turned off their mics just a few years ago. But I think this is something they should start doing. They likely probably won't do it because they like the TV drama environment. They like the approach of the drama behind it, which is probably why I think they won't turn it off. But they should. They really should, seriously. And I'm not just. They really should turn up the mic. When they don't need to speak, turn it off. You know. And I think in the next debate, it should be a request. If you don't need to speak, turn it off. Because even Chris Wallace said that his Trump's team has said, his handlers has said that they were going to go ahead and be respectful of the other candidates' turn to talk. He kept interrupting Joe Biden several times throughout most of the debate, when he should have kept his mouth fucking shut. You know? See, Trump wants to win at every cost, even if it means not giving the other candidate time to talk. He don't want other people to convince the American public of how wrong he really is. And that's the thing. They don't really need Biden to tell them that. People already know that Trump's a fucking crook. We all know that. He's a low-down, dirty, bumbling, rotten, maniacal, narcissistic, racist motherfucker. We all know that. Republicans are already talking about voting against Trump. But we'll see. You know, some of them will still suck his dick no matter what. I gotta keep it honest. Some of those guys are gonna suck him off no matter what he does. What is this food door? He's just gonna come out there anywhere. Cut me off. But bottom line is, I don't care what anybody told you. I don't care about what you heard about Trump did this or Trump. No, the only thing Trump did was acting the way he's always acted, like a fucking blowhard. He really had nothing on Biden. That's why he kept interrupting Biden every 2 seconds. Every time Biden was allowed to speak, Trump trying to butt in every damn 2 seconds. He even tried to talk over the moderator. You know, to a point where, you tried to debate me? No, dumbass. He's a moderator. You're supposed to follow his lead, asshole. Trump doesn't even follow instructions from the moderator. Okay? That's his base is Fox News. You know, but Fox News lately, they've been on the tear. They've been telling him, look, you just can't come on here whenever you feel like it. Oh, the one, not Bill, I forgot the guy's name. He's a punk. I can't stand that guy. That guy is a Trump rider all day. He wants to really be in Trump's camp. As you can tell, he got mad because Steve Ducey told me you just can't be coming up here every time you want to talk. And I agree with Steve Ducey on that. You know, you ought to be trying to run the damn country anyway. Why the fuck you spend time trying to be on Fox News when you should be out there being on your grind trying to help to save this country, you dumb bastard? No, he don't want to do that. He just wanted to be the bitch ass that he's always been. A bitch ass. You know. I just, you know, like I said, I'm going to say this and I'm going to get off here. Anybody, I don't give a fuck who you are. Any damn body who sat there and watched that debate for 2 hours last night, who thought that Donald Trump won, needs to be locked up. They need to lock them up and throw away the key. And yes, I said they need to be put in jail for being so stupid to think that he won that debate. No, he was desperate, and you could tell he was desperate. He had nothing to say. He was racist. All he did was bitch about little penny ante shit regarding Biden. Nothing of any real substance, and nothing to substantiate what the fuck he was talking about. Bottom line, Trump is a fucking loser, and I'm hoping he loses his shirt on this. I'm out.